everybody, welcome back to Angry Badger Minis. Just give you a brief synopsis of what's going on, a little overview. I'm gonna do some work tonight on stuff. Just not sure how much talking I'll be doing, but I do have the chat open for you guys, so I'll know if you say something or whatever. I guess first things first, the Obliterators, that I was working on, they came out really well. I still have a little bit to do on this last guy, and I'm contemplating, just because I didn't want to put some tendrils and stuff on them, but I'm contemplating, hold on, let me get another light going on here. That kind of black drowns me out, but that's okay. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I just want to put some more, little tendril things on them, but I'm thinking about making the actual feet, the toes that come out and stuff like that. But we've got 3 of them, and I was able to do different style poses with their arms and heads so they don't look exactly the same. And I've got them yellow tacked out right now, or down, sorry, out. What the heck am I even saying? Because I'm not sure that that's the base I want to put them on at the moment. Still waiting on my heads to come in for my 3rd edition out of print Chaos Terminators that we've made a little wider, so they're not here yet. And I have made, let's see here, we've done quite a bit actually. I made a mold for the Sectum Mechanicus type bases, because I really like these bases a lot, and they will go well with the Space Hulk stuff here. I was thinking about redoing all of my Space Hulk stuff, just tearing this up, throwing it away, whatever, because I get stupid like that. And then thankfully I sat down with it and put my Terminators back on there that I've got done and stuff. Well, they're not completely done, but everybody thinks they're done. They're just not done to me. And it spoke to me, don't do that. Instead, what I did do is, and you guys probably have not seen this part of it that I've shown in the past, and it's glued on at the moment, but I made, here, let me do this. I had made these removable or modular tunnel systems that go above, if you will, or just giant pipes, if you will, ducts or whatever, so that gene stealers or whatever could run through there, and come down. And I wanted to do something, we had them like this particular vent here. There's some of these sections that have a vent like that, and those are the only ones where they can actually come out of there as well for our particular board. But this was a modular piece. This was part of it, and I cut it off. This piece right here was really just a counterweight to all of the weight. But now that I've glued it on with the Instacure Bob Smith Industries, it's, like I said, once it glues, it's pretty good. It's just I was having some problems with it gluing after a while. With any length of time, but it's definitely, I can see all the gaps in here. You guys probably can't see it on the camera, so I apologize. You can see a little bit, that little white spot right at the edge of the shadow of my finger. That was just some dots that I put in there, so that way if I have to rip this off, I'll be able to do it. For those of you not familiar with how this was made, and I have a ton of these sections, and I'll explain all the white here in a minute. This is rain gutter. It's a piece of a rain gutter that I cut or cut pieces off, and then I got little bits and bobs, if you will, from the arts and crafts section at Walmart. These are real wires, and then I used just some cardstock to come around it, and give it kind of a crimp, if you will. These are ink pens, dollar store ink pens. Just rip the guts out and then put them down. This is, I'm not sure what this thing is exactly that they go into. I don't remember anymore. But this on top's like a little fastener button for clothes. Excuse me. I had some, I'm not even sure what these things are, but I put another pin in there, and then we've got these, I'm sorry, you can't see that. These are like a, you know, a coat fastener, something up here, I don't know what that's for either. We got a, is this like a thread bonnet, bobbit, whatever, I don't know. More wire, more cardstock, you know, and then some crochet, black crochet mat that we put on there, and then underneath here, all of this is tile, and then egg carton, like the heavy plastic egg carton stuff. I may end up ripping this stuff off down the road and doing something a little more solid. I mean, I've had this board since built and everything since man, I don't even know, like 2006 or something. I'm trying to remember, it's been a long time, and I have stripped it down, rebuilt, I mean, over and over, and I just never was completely happy with it. Then I think it was just because of what my mind wanted to see and the amount of detail that you could put and things like that. And now that when you got things like this that could fit really well, you know, and bring some life to it, I mean, you can imagine, you know, what you can do. Obviously this doesn't match that, and that's where, I mean, that base doesn't match the floor, but that's where these come in, where I can make as many of these as I want, and I have a ton of them anyway. But the one thing that I'm having an issue with now is when the Terminator is sitting on what I've already made. The whole scope behind this was to give this massive corridor as far as up and down, not necessarily, you know, horizontally, just vertically, and that way the most you could fit, you know, was a Terminator and 3/4 of a Terminator. You wouldn't be able to actually put them side by side, but you gave them enough room that you could have supporting fires and that kind of stuff. So and that tends to, you know, works really well. It looks great cinematic wise and all that. The problem if I go and now my wife doesn't care. She's like, oh man, it looked fine to me. But when I put this layer down and then I put this guy here, well, now it brings that Terminator up higher. And while yes, they should be hulking and massive, similar, you know, kind of like what she was mentioning, in my mind, I lose. And I mean, we're talking, what is this, maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe, you know, I don't even know if that's 1/4 of an inch, but it just, the way my eyes work, it's like I can see that, I can see the difference, and you know, in height, and I mean, it's to me, it's massive, but I want this feel. So my plan is, what I did, and it should be done now, is I made a mold of this particular tile and this tile. Okay, now one-sided mold, because we don't need the, you know, this part right here where they connect. I don't need any of that. And my goal is I need many of these, many more of them. I have quite a few from the other sets that I have not opened up or whatever, but not as much as I really want. And my goal is to pour a thinner cast of these and then lay that down so it's not quite as tall, and then do the same up top here, and I'll cut off the sides here so that there's a small thin piece, you know, this thin section right here in the middle that will go along, that'll make that a little bit flatter for the gene stealers to sit on, or whatever else you've got running around in the air ducts up there. In order for this to work, I have to basically cut. This is another reason why I want to cast thin. I need to cut one side off of each one to make it fit what I actually built. If I do it like this and line it up, then that will be, I guess it's kind of hard to see what I'm trying to do here on camera. But anyway, I want these to be on here because these connect with other sections that are the same size. And you know, we'll have a little bit of this residual. I'm not going to throw this away. We'll have some of this residual crochet mat or whatever on the sides, but that's okay because it gives it kind of a drainage feel, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you guys should be able to see that looking down at it. You know, and not every section has, you know, pipes here. You know, there's some sections that don't have any of that. Actually, as a matter of fact, hold on a second. I forgot I was repairing this one over here. So here's one that has not been painted, and as you can see, it doesn't have all of that stuff. All right. So if I take this and lay that in there, well, now we can see, you know, like right in here where you've got, you know, kind of the drainage thing going on, if you will. You know, just we'll call it a hallway sump or something like that. Okay. Also, going back, because I said I would talk about it and I didn't. Going back to the air duct up here, or the pipe. So this was filled up with like expanding foam, and, well, not filled up, but I mean the combination of expanding foam, fishing worms, and Mod Podge, and then painted over to look like some kind of alien growth, you know, things like that. And I think that was because I thought to myself that, well, I mean, you know, it's inspired, I guess, or would be inspired by aliens, you know. The problem is, as I got to thinking tonight, or today, gene stealers don't do that. As a matter of fact, there's nothing that we even know of that I can remember anyway. Please feel free to correct me. There's nothing that I know of that, even in the Patriarch's brood lair, do they do anything like that. I mean, because that kind of growth and things like that would bring suspicion and bring attention to the lair. So it just dawned on me. I'm like, shoot, man. So I scraped all that out, and I'll just need to repaint it. And then what I'll do instead is I'll put, because I have some that are already like this, I'll put some conduit, you know, pieces like this or whatever in there. And I also plan on putting some pipe, you know, like right here on, you know, on the top as well. So when your gene stealer's in there, he is kind of separated. Here, let me see if I can balance this a little bit for you guys for the camera. Gene stealer does not want to play. He's being Mr. Barrel of Monkeys guy. So yeah, so that way you have, you know, some aesthetic separation. It's not just this cut off piece to this pipe. And it'll help keep the models from just falling out, which is a big part of what these, you know, are. These are essentially my railing / 3D aesthetic, you know, imagination things. Looks like I gotta do some repairs there. And again, most of this stuff is years old. Excuse me. So that's what I'm working on. Basically, I'm gonna break. You guys are gonna see me doing some stuff here. Super exhausted. So don't know how much talking I'll be doing, but we got music for you guys, you know, as always. And I'm gonna break this open and get our stuff out. So feel free to say something, and I will respond in kind as soon as I hear you. Oh, here's something. I didn't realize February 28th was our 1-year anniversary. So there's that. And we are now up to, I believe it's 86 subscribers. Thank you very much. Again, YouTube's not telling me who you are. I just happen to see the number. So, you know, if you want to tell me who you are, please let me know, and I'll be happy to say your name and whatnot in the next video. I actually do write that stuff down. And, yeah. Just a note for some of you new to this casting bit, if you try it out, you may be looking at this and going, man, you know, look at all that rough stuff around the edges. Well, here's the thing. I don't want to get rid of all of it, just enough, okay, that it's not hanging down, messing up my model too much, or my cast, because it's actually my measuring line for how much I'm going to pour. That way I don't go, you know, too high, if you will. Shot. Waiting on this to cure. That'll be better planned.
Mitsuru Yo Chief Watcha working on.
I am working on. I just opened this mold up, or poured it today, to do floors, sector mechanical floors for my Space Hulk board that I've constantly tore up and rebuilt over the years. Long story short, basically these right here, and I'm hoping to either pour them thin enough that they'll not be as thick as this one, so it doesn't take up, you know, much of my vertical space inside of my hallway here, or I'll just live with it. But the goal is to bring a little more character to it, and that's basically what I'm doing here at the moment. Oop, I realize we need a little bit more there, but I'm trying to also keep it thin so I can hopefully cut it easier as well. That will of course depend on how cured it is at the time as well, because I'm not gonna up on this top part here. This is a, oh man, really? Like I said, this thing's old. That was not supposed to be a support piece for you to grab. Anyway, this, gosh, what am I trying to say? Air ducts, conduit, whatever, where the gene stealers and stuff can run around up there and then drop down or whatever. I'm going to be putting a flat piece in here so the models don't wobble, and I'll need to cut that, cut the sides off so that it's just a strip. But yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. This stuff's been around, like I said, I think 2006 I've had this. So it's now I've never had some of the glue and stuff that I've had, and I may end up going back down the road and using epoxy now that I know how to use that and everything. But yeah, I mean, I need a lot more of these anyway. I have a bunch, which is going to work out great, but I need more. I need a lot more. And I experimented today as well. I made the bases for them as well, so that way I can take my Terminators off of this crochet stuff, like that, and even you know, the gene stealers or whatever, and put them on this stuff right here, which I think will be really cool. So that's what I'm working on, and I'm just so exhausted I can't even freaking think of anything to say. But this is one of the other sections here, and I glued this pipe on top this time, where it used to just sit on there. That's what these nuts were for, so it could sit up against that, and then it had a counterweight that held it on. But if you bumped the table too hard, or if you weren't paying attention, you could easily knock it off. And I just figured, you know what, I'm gonna bite the bullet and glue this bad boy on, and you know, just be this is my experiment, of course, and then I kind of explained all this in the beginning of the live stream, but I'll go back and I'll make sure that, you know, these aren't all on the same style of corridor. That way it's a little bit different for each one. Also, I highlighted that we have 3 Obliterators now out of the Nurgle Chaos Lord from the Dark Imperium box set, and I was able to give them different poses, which is really cool. I just need to do, I just lost track. Oh, this guy, hold on, let me put these 2 down. This guy right here just needs to get some extra green stuff on him. It looks like he's got some, you know, some other veinage stuff going on. And then I'm thinking about actually doing a green stuff, big toes or whatever, kind of like dreadnought type toes on the feet, like the real model has. But I'm really pleased with how they came out. Still haven't gotten the heads yet for my Chaos Terminators, my out of print ones. It's just not here in the mail yet. but they're all sitting up here, you know, waiting for their moment of glory to be finished. And then I need to get my butt to Lowe's and get shelves, acrylic shelves made for my IKEA Detolfs, and you know, one thing after another. And as you guys can see, this, you know, curing here. But I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to do it thin just to see what happens. And while I'm waiting on this to cure, I'm going to clean up my Legos here so they'll be ready for any other molds.
Mitsuru the guy. Very cool stuff. I'm taking a break on my new Stormlord. I applaud.
Stormlord, Stormlord, what is that? What is a Stormlord? I'm trying to think what that is. Is that Stormlord? Is that a flyer? Can't remember what that is. Or am I thinking of the Stormbird? Stormlord. What is a Stormlord? Yeah, I'm hoping this works out. I mean, this is one of those boards I really want to get done because I can use it for just about anything. Like maybe you do an urban city fight, and then maybe you have to get to a specific building or underground facility to disable it or do whatever, and then you take the fight inside, and now you go from a big battlefield down to the little stuff, you know. I saw today, I don't know, I'm not trying to claim, you know, rights or, you know, we did it first kind of thing, but I saw today, what is it? Play on Tabletop, I think is the name of it. Really good channel. So if you haven't heard of them, definitely watch them. But they did an underwater battle, and I was laughing because that's exactly what we did back in the 90s. And we almost really had, you know, some serious debates over whether or not, I mean, I don't think the lore was that good at the time, but it seemed plausible that if a space marine...
Mitsuru the guy. Baneblade chassis.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Anyway, if a space marine could survive in the vacuum of space, there's no reason he couldn't fight underwater. And we had, you know, and where we were, the only terrain that we could even get that wasn't handmade was straight from an aquarium shop. So it was all underwater plants and things like that, you know. And we did underwater battles and stuff. And then I saw that today for the first time after all these years on YouTube, and I was like, man, that takes me back, you know. And you know, of course, YouTube didn't exist back then, and you know, the internet was in its infancy. I think the internet for your normal public citizen, John Q. Citizen, was 2 years old. So maybe 3, I don't know. Trying to think. My first computer for that kind of stuff was a Gateway. Oh gosh, what was it? I want to say it was it Dell or something, I don't know. Whoever had the cow symbol or colors and stuff, you know, like cow print. But yeah. That's when I got into Half-Life and all that kind of stuff. So you say you're taking a break on your Stormlord. How come? Like, what's going on? I know the Baneblade chassis can be a pain to put together. I've got 2 of them. I don't have a Stormlord. I wish I did. That's a cool looking model. Kind of wish I could just do the turret itself and leave the rest alone, but who knows? I'll probably get one or get one 3D printed or something. I don't know. The only problem I have with doing what I was planning on doing here is if I don't get the measurement right on each one, I've got to sand the bottom for each one. And there are, I forget how many sections, plus your T intersections and everything else. Alright, we're all cleaned up. How's this looking? I think it's hard enough to come out. Let's see what we got here. Nope, it doesn't look like we accomplished what we wanted to with the thin part. It's just as thick as the real one. But it definitely came out good, as you can see. And I mean, if that's the way it's going to be, you know, I mean, I can live with it. I mean, I'm sure it'll look different to me once I tone it down, you know, with the paints and everything. Let's see here. This one. Nope.
Metsuer the guy. Too tough for me right now. I started it at 3 and I'm kinda worn out.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. Just make sure you, if you haven't already, make sure you pay attention to where those wheels go. That's all I can tell you. Yeah, so sit that in there. This one will go here, but we're going to cut off some of this stuff. But this is a solid piece where this one isn't because of those parts. But I mean, that's not a big deal. Let's see what we can do about cutting this off though. I do my razor blade. I was just using it to scrape freaking clay. Apparently. Set it down somewhere else. Here's one. This is not the one I want, I don't think. We're going to cut this off if we can.
Metsuer the guy. Although it's been super fun and the FuCab Mega Bolter is super cool. Yeah, wheels are a pain.
Oh yeah. Well, and they don't, I mean, I don't know how your instructions are, but mine were horrible. They just really didn't do very well at explaining anything, and I think they, if I remember correctly, they only gave you instructions for one side, and the instructions I had actual numbers and letters for the wheels and stuff, but none of my wheels did. So it didn't help me at all. And my first one, I probably tore the wheels apart 3 times trying to figure that one out. I think that's in one of my videos actually. Right, let's look at this again here. I'm gonna screw this up.
Metsuer the guy. Yuppers brother.
Yeah, that's what we want right there. We'll cut that off, and then I'll sling it around. Yeah, that'll work. Afraid of that. And I'm not going to throw these pieces away because you can use them for all kinds of, you know, random whatever. It's definitely curing fast though. Faster than normal, it seems like. Chaos Gods are definitely trying to mess with me at the moment. Switch over to our heavy weapons team. And hope that we don't get too overzealous here. Alright, Kimber, that's enough. Where's my other razor blade? Where? Man, that's curing fast. That's why, like I said, I wanted to try to cut it or pour it thin, but it's definitely not playing ball. This thing's got a toughness of 30 apparently.
Mitsuru guy. Built my wheels for like 4 hours now.
Oh my god.
That's my break to catch you.
4 hours, man. I feel the pain, believe me. There we go. It's like cutting butter if it was frozen in the Antarctic. Alright, we can either put it that way or we can turn it around. I'm thinking we should turn it around. Something like that. But if we do that, then that means these two look stupid. Alright. So let's put it back this way. Let's catch what we got going on here. And that fits damn near almost perfect. The only thing you would need to do at this point is sand it a little bit, fill the gap, and boom, we have a better textured floor. And I think that's what we're gonna do. So I'm going to take a look. We need to sand here, probably just right there for the moment. I don't need this to be in here to do this. Well, that's definitely better. And there's probably nothing wrong with having a gap. I mean, honestly, if you're really concerned about that, you're probably not having fun anymore. But because of my OCD, I'll always look for it. Especially when it just takes a couple movements of the sandpaper there and you can pretty much fix it. Alright, not too bad if I do say so myself for a first time cast. Some of this looks a little wider, and that's because it wasn't completely cured. The other alternative for me, other than using the razor blade, was going to be using my Dremel with my saw blade. But since we know how this works, and I'm not too concerned about that, I'm now going to cut these off, and we're going to experiment with that. Because Lord knows I am not going to sit here and try to, you know, deep enough or not. Nope. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm gonna get this one done here for as an experiment, but I'm definitely gonna come better prepared next time. Now the great part about what I'm doing here is my plan was once I had this set, excuse me one second. Helps to have a good breath hold too. Because I didn't want to breathe any of that in. Didn't realize it was going to end up being that fine. As you guys can see, putting this up here for the gene stealers to be on. But my plan was, once I had where I wanted this, as far as the width of one of these, I'm going to make another mold just for that, so I don't have to do all this cutting and, you know, craziness. Now, that won't solve me or absolve me from having to do those 2 cuts on this, because this is a really good mold for just about everything. Excuse me. But you guys get my point here. And then my gene stealer, where did you go? Now he has a flat place to hang out on, and he won't fall off or, you know, rotate or whatever. And it gives a little bit of character inside the inside the conduit as well. And for those of you that are interested in my homebrew Space Hulk rules, let me know in Discord. I can shoot them over to you. Not a big deal. They're really fun if you know, and you can play by yourself. You don't have to have anybody else to play with. Just about everything I do is predicated around that because I don't have anybody to really play with except on Tabletop Simulator. So, and if you're interested in doing that as well, shoot me a line on that as well, and we'll try to link something up. So, alright. So that worked out. We know that that's going to work out as far as the size, so that's good. This sticks over a little bit up here, but I'm not too concerned about that. It's not like these ever lined up and like came together. That wasn't really the goal. The goal was that the Space Hulk board was as modular as it could possibly be. And if you've ever played, as close as I've ever come to an RPG, played the box sets of D&D, you can play this where you have everything set up, or you could play it as here's where you get and you set something down, you know, in whatever direction. Just, you know, it's really up to you. But where's the other guy? There he is. And then just to give you guys an idea, let me get my camera down here. This is basically what you're looking at. Is if you were looking at the game table, this is how you would be playing, so that you've got really a real three-dimensional setup. And I've got doors, I got everything. So, but it's pretty good to go, I think. My problem is once I get on an idea, I can't. I have to try it before I can let it rest, because it'll bother the heck out of me. Alright, so that's working out for us. Let's see here. We don't need to go crazy right now with printing or casting anything, but we could go ahead and cast another set for the bottom, a full set. I'm a visual person. I like to see all of this, you know, and then that's what helps me figure out where I went wrong or what I need to change or what have you. So let's go ahead and make another mixture here. I used to repair surfboards too, so believe me, I understand the dangers. I just wasn't always in a position back then to have the things that I needed, just like I don't at the moment. But I also did not expect it to be that fine. But now I know. And like I said, you know, I really won't have to do that much. I definitely won't have to do all of that because I'll be making a mold for that skinny piece once I put it together, and it'll be a solid piece, most likely. gaps this time. Not going to worry about making it thin. You already know it's not going to work, really, so I'm not going to bother. Looks like we're mostly good to go. Just want to make sure I don't go above that threshold there. All right. And like I said, you know, these pieces, I mean, I'll have to make the 25mm ones and some 40mm ones or whatever. Well, I mean, these are 40mm, I meant bigger ones. But it's going to work out great. I know it is. Let's see. And I've gotten pretty close on making copies of Chaos Marines. I just got to do a little tweaking. I wasn't motivated to do the tweaking today once I realized I wanted to work on my Space Hulk board. But yeah, we're getting really close here. Just a few things that are, you know, some air bubbles get in there, and once I've got that squared away, we'll be all set. Let's see here. All right. Now, question of the day is, what do we do with these parts? Well, you could take these parts and probably look at it like this. There's kind of sort of some kind of railing if you wanted to do that, except you can see that part. I don't really like that. Or you could put it back here on the walls. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can really do with it. I mean, heck, probably put it back together, and then you got a small, you know, a small whatever. But I definitely don't want to throw this stuff away at the moment. Not at all. Put some of this stuff away. But if it gets to the point that I really don't like, or I don't have a need or real reason to hold on to this stuff, then maybe it wouldn't be so hard, hard on me to just cut it with my clippers or whatever. It's just, there's so many wires and detail and stuff in here, you know, it's in the cogs and stuff. It's really hard for me to want to let it go. I'm a hoarder. What can I say? Hoarding. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out great. But I need to make copies of these 25mm stuff for these guys. What was I gonna say? There's something else I was gonna do. Oh, I've got the wires that came from here, cables and wires. I would like to make copies of those to decorate with. Versus having to, I mean, all of our sections have all the wires already done that I, at the time wanted to deal with, but it would be nice to have, the stuff that ties it all in together. Let's see what else. There's more pipes, which I have plenty of. Like I said, I want to put some small stuff up here, and we'll put some stuff in the back, the backdrop of the actual, air duct up here, conduit. I don't know, I just had this thing flash in my head about how I was, could have a mission where if you were able to get to something in time, you could flood these things and, with whatever the fuel source is or something like that, and kill everything. But I started thinking about it. I mean, if they can survive in space with no oxygen and survive underwater, what the heck is the fuel going to do to them if it's not actually burning or something, But yeah, man, this This is a lot better than what I used to do, which is just take pieces of tile and cut strips. I wonder if I should turn that around though. Whatever I do, this has got to be turned around different from the one on the bottom. I need to remind myself of that. Otherwise I'm going to have two fans right next to each other, and that's going to look awkward. Yeah, I think let me look at that again. Yeah, that's not too bad, I guess. I just really didn't like how this part right here was right next to that one. Yeah. We'll get this all sanded down tomorrow or something like that, and I'll make a single mold of that whole bit right there. You know, once I've filled in the gaps and things like that and made sure it's laying flat. Matter of fact, I can probably do that right now, the flat part anyway, with a couple of clamps. Let's see here. Just so happen to have them right here. Alright, maybe 3 clamps. Then we'll sand that down and get them glued together tomorrow. This is curing nicely. Cook some of this extra crap. Okay, a million projects going on all at once. I really need to get those shelves so I can go to town on my freaking Chaos armies and get them put together. Nurgle, of course, first because it's my largest, which apparently I have a ton of points for. Yeah, I like these obliterators that I made. I think they came out fairly well, and I think they'll come out really well once I paint them, whenever that is. One day we'll get all the stuff put together, and then it'll be nothing but painting. This will be a painting channel until I come up with some other harebrained idea to extend my modeling experience. And I mean, clearly I love to paint. I mean, I do. But clearly, really clearly, I love to make things. It seems to be what I do the most of. This stuff is super fine. Almost looks like hair. Definitely gonna be doing a high-speed vacuum job tomorrow. Looks like we got some holes here. Let's see if I can mix this up real quick. It's a little bit that's left here. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. We'll find out here real quick. I think my desk perhaps may not be level anymore, or maybe it's one of these mats because of this, the glue and stuff that's on it. Might be kind of cattywampus here. Don't know. Don't know. We're almost there. Yeah. The more I look at these Chaos Obliterators, I'm actually pretty impressed with. I mean, it was just a quick ad hoc job. I didn't really have a plan. I just figured we'd do what we could to make them look as close to the, you know, the GW spot ones, and then just trying to get the arms. I just can't get over how even the ones, the real ones, how their fists look like Marnia's Calgar's fists. It's kind of stupid to me, but so I'll probably try to do. I'm thinking I might bring some more, you know, tentacle type stuff out or something like that to try to break it up. But if they're supposed to, I mean, I don't know, that's how they're supposed to look. So, and the last gun part really came out well. I'm pretty happy about that. I thought that might look a little too corny, but it actually looks pretty good. Especially once you take a, oh, that's right, I forgot to do it on that one. Once you take a tendril and wrap it, like, you know, around the bottom and then one and separating it and stuff like that, it really makes it look good. I'm not a huge fan of the horns on there, but it does give him some girth, or give the Obliterator some girth, so can't really complain about that too much. Alright, what's going on here? How are we looking? Can't tell. Yeah, okay. It's not cured yet, but it's definitely stopped moving. Let me see here. And I can't remember if I had told anybody, but these old Obliterators, I'm gonna just move them over to my Adeptus Mechanicus army as servitors. I think they'll work fine as gun servitors. What does that say? GW, is that 98? Yeah, GW 98. Huh. Chaos. GW. Well, that says 48. Or maybe it is a 9. No, that's a 4. That's not even 40. That's 4B. Alright, well then what is this? Let's look at this again. Maybe that's a 9B. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, man. I don't really want to touch that with my hand. Yeah, it's not quite ready. This stuff is, but not those spots. Wow, that's super warm too, man. Oh, I'm like, what did I just do with that? And I forgot I freaking clamped it down over here. That's hilarious. Not really though. And if you don't have one of these cordless rechargeable Dremels, I highly suggest you get one. It's perfect for, you know, when you're doing it the right way. Take it outside. but this is the only time I really have to do things is at this time of night, and it's pretty cold outside, and don't want the dogs barking and things like that. So. Come on, baby. Don't know what I did with my sanding block. Oh man, I just realized we got to make a mold for that. We've got to make a mold for the base, the other size bases. We need to make a mold for a rhino, and we need to make a mold for these right here from the oh gosh, what's it called? It's a launch pad. Sky something. I can't remember. But anyway, and the reason I want to make these is these are going to help me when I build my city. I'm going to be using these and hopefully to use as supports for highways and stuff. I'll just stack them on top of one another. I'm going to make molds of this. I'm just going to make, one side. That's all you need. And I'm only going to make like one half and, not this side, but just this side. So that I have the taller buildings for, the one, so I don't have to put all those tiny little panels together, and I have taller buildings for my Titans and stuff. And then what I may do is I may do like a stained glass type thing behind the windows so they don't all look, the same or whatever. But big, giant, stupid cathedrals, 26 inches tall. Gotta have something taller than my Titans. Have to. We're going to... I'm not sure exactly how to do it. Man, I didn't even... I could have probably made a mold of this dude. Oh, shoot, man. Made a mold of this dude and put weapons on him. And he could have been an Obliterator. But actually, he might be a little too big. He's almost the size of a Hellbrute. Well, anyway, that's not what I was going to do with it. This set right here, this is from the Age of Sigmar box set, the first one, I think, that came out, where you have the Stormcast Eternals and the, well, they're Khorne guys. I don't know who they are. I don't play Age of Sigmar really. My plan was to put some of these guys together that I could stand looking at, like this guy right here that's running with his face and the Khorne thing on top, and make them into my Khorne Berserkers. Because I have some of the old ones, just a few, that I can make copies of, but oh my gosh, are they hideous. But it's amazing all the stuff I'm finding. I'm like, oh man, I could do this, I could do that, I could copy that, make a mold of that. So that's what I think I'm going to end up doing. That guy's not too bad either. But I want them like they're running. Mostly. And I want the guys that seem to wear a relatively, at least enough armor that they could pass for a Chaos Berserker. I mean, they're big enough, for sure. Might even be too big. But who knows? Who knows? Are you done yet, man? I know it was kind of a weird mix. Yeah, that mix. Still not done yet. Done enough that I can take it out. The only thing that sucks is I got this little hump here I'd probably have to sand down. Yeah, definitely would not cure it right there. mold's good. It's real good. Comes out real well. You can't be upset about that. I mean, look at that, man. The fan, everything. There's no air bubbles. It's awesome. You can see all the wires and details. And I mean, you don't have to paint all that stuff to make it look good. So anyway, at least the mold worked out good. And it'll last for a long time too. Well, alright, guys, I'm gonna call it. It's been a long day. Super exhausted. I just wanted to jump on here, have some fun, and hang out with you guys and show you what we're up to. So I will catch you as soon as I can. In the meantime, if you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. And if you're interested in helping us out, there's a Patreon link below.